Hi, everyone. Here we are. Welcome to Shadow Mountain Resort. Lovely day 3 of our broadcast, but I believe it's day 7 of the tournament. It's February 2nd. It's 2/2/23. An exciting day. Whether you're in Europe or America, it's 2/2/23 or 2/2/23. We are here at lovely Shadow Mountain Resort in Indian Wells, Palm Desert, California. Let's take a look from the booth at this awesome scenery. Look at this beautiful place. Couldn't think of a better place. This really is the home of tennis in the desert here in Southern California. You're looking at Stadium Court, known as Court 4 here at Shadow Mountain Resort. Got those Wilson banners up on the net. Big thanks to Wilson for being the title sponsor of the Wilson World Tennis Classic. This tournament's gone through many title sponsors throughout the years, through the decades of existence, but this is the largest experience on the West Coast for senior men's and women's competitive tennis. 35s all the way up into the 90s are being contested over 10 days of the tournament. We're looking at a good match here, warming up here on center court. We'll be talking about it a bit more between Jeff Greenwald and Curtis Dunn as we get into the action.
Looks like they're still warming up here, but
yeah, I'm super excited to see this final. Spencer, is this men's 50s action?
I believe it's the men's 55s. We got a match here with Curtis Dunn versus Jeff Greenwald. And I believe they told us a little bit about their history, their matchup, so to say.
Yeah, Jeff claims that he's lost once to Curtis. He's played him a couple times. Curtis says they've played more than just a couple times. Jeff comes into this match with an illustrious title, former #1 in the world at 35 and over singles, 6 gold balls, 13 national championships, and a lot more we'll talk about as we get going. Curtis Dunn, also coming from NorCal, both of these guys from the USTA NorCal section, coming into the match. Still chasing his first gold ball. Jeff and a couple other guys in his age category have been in the way for the last couple decades, but Curtis is no slouch himself. He graduated Stanford, class of '89. His team won 3-time back-to-back NCAA team championship titles. Stanford, obviously being from the Bay Area, he's in software, currently residing up in Napa. Jeff is one of the few guys at this tournament that's not involved in software that's from the Bay Area. He's a sports psychologist, specifically a tennis psychologist. Actually has a great book out there that I recommend everyone pick up on Amazon, and yes, I am getting paid to say that. It's entitled The Best Tennis of Your Life. This match, 55's final, does not feature a chair umpire, so we're unaware of who won the toss, or even if the players have flipped a coin or spun a racket yet, so we can't tell you who's going to be serving first. They've been through some.
Yeah, looking back through the draw here, we can see that Curtis is really put on a dominating display here. I think his first couple of rounds 0-0, 1-0. I don't think either player has dropped a set yet during their time here in Palm Springs. Jeff Greenwald also showing a dominant display here. So I think we're going to see an interesting match here. Two giants clashing.
Yeah, straight set victories on both sides of the draw. What do we start in, round of 32 for these gentlemen?
64.
64. So draw 64.
Yeah, they both.
Jeff is the 1 seed.
Curtis the second.
Curtis coming through as the 2 seed. Big shout out to the seeding tournament director this week, none other than Mr. Kywin Evans, a newly minted board member for the National Men's Senior Tennis Association. It's here helping sponsor this match, along with some of our amazing sponsors you see up there in the graphics. I mentioned Wilson, title sponsor for the Wilson World Tennis Classic. A big shout out to none other than James Mackey with Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate here in the desert. He's your desert connection. Or there's a little banner that we'll zoom in on later. Game, set, sold. If you need any idea about what's going on in the market, and I believe James will be on air with us a little bit later just to give us a little market update here in the desert. It's always a good time to buy and always a good time to sell, James told me as well. So he's your guy if you want to play tennis anywhere down here in the Palm Springs area, SoCal in general. He can find houses that are within walking distance of a tennis court. That's his specialty. His team's been out all week supporting the event. Besides the National Senior Men's Tennis Association, this event is also sponsored by the National Women's Tennis Organization, the NWTO. They're out here showing the support for this men's final. We've had a lot of good women's finals contested. We've also had a number of gold balls being awarded in mixed doubles this week. So both the NWTO and the National Senior Men's Tennis Association are supporting not only men's and women's high-level ITF play around the world, but are really interested in the plight of mixed doubles at the national level. Curtis and Jeff are not a fan of the 5-minute warm-up rule or even the 10-minute warm-up rule. So as we wait for them to get started, Spencer, what are you feeling? What are we seeing during warm-up here? I've heard that Jeff hits a big ball. I've seen him play a couple matches this week. These are slow courts with fast air. I know Curtis was a bit concerned about being able to handle the pace that Jeff brings. Courts are slow, but that ball really travels at you. It's kind of unexpected. We got this dry desert air. This is one of the warmer days of the tournament. We went through some rain on Monday, but today's a nice day. Low 70s at 10 a.m. here in the desert. I expect there to be about 10 to 15 degree temperature rise during the hour and a half of this match, so that could play a factor.
Hard to tell during the warm-up what players are just getting started here, I feel, and displaying some good strokes. We'll have to see how this one goes.
You're looking at Curtis take some warm-up serves right now. He is on the north side looking into the sun. Jeff here walking towards Curtis is on the south side. That's the commentator right. Curtis is out to the commentator left here. Got a good crowd here at 10 a.m. for this men's 55 finals. There's about 300 people here at the venue at the moment that have checked in this morning. Got a lot of good action happening on the outer courts. There's multiple venues in play this week. This whole event organized by the folks at Shadow Mountain Resort, but takes place at other venues throughout the desert, as there's dozens of draws being contested with back draws to go with it. Real three-set tennis, real ad tennis on display this week.
Looks like Jeff Greenwald is elected to serve first.
Looks like Curtis has chose to let Jeff serve without the sun in his eyes, so Curtis doesn't have the sun in his eyes. Wind hasn't been too much of a factor for these guys this week, but we do have some winds that pop up every once in a while here in the desert. I'll let you know if that is playing into the ball at all here. Joining us here in the broadcast booth, notice a gentleman from Summerlin or Las Vegas, Nevada. Austin, why don't you introduce yourself? We're live on air just watching this men's 55 final. Austin, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing here at this tournament as we watch Jeff attempt to hold serve.
We are attempting to play at this level. I was in the tournament and lost second round, but this is some great stuff. Looks like it's turning out to be a great day here. We're enjoying the tennis here at the Shadow Mountain Resort. Lovely facility and very nice people here. So speaking of nice people, I'm going to hand you back to Todd and you enjoy the match.
Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so Jeff taking care of business here.
A couple of really good serves from Jeff, helping him really start off on the right foot here. And there's another one.
There's one more.
That's going to be...
Well, we thought the score was 40-love, but it must be 40-15. We're positioned a bit away from the court, and these guys aren't used to making their own calls. Don't have a great vantage point on the lines from where we are. There we go. Jeff closes out the first game with a nice 40-15 hold, showing his versatility at the net, getting things done with a cute dropper. Looks like he could play some doubles, though. Jeff opting just to enter singles this week. He wants to give his body time to recover, but he also said, he's got a day job to do, so he works with a number of clients. Not only here in the tournament and in the desert, but even up on the pro tour as a sports psychologist, tennis psychologist. So he gets his grind in the morning with some rounds throughout the tournament, and then is working in the afternoons. First look at Dunn's serve here in this men's 55 final. Tweener opportunity there for Dunn, but a little too early in the morning to really stretch those hamstrings and try for it. I think with Dunn's serve, we're going to see a lot more points develop with Dunn's serve. That was one of the longer points we've seen. He's going to get the ball in play and try to win the point, and deal with Jeff's power. Jeff's looking for opportunities to end it a bit earlier, and he's got the extra 20-mile-an-hour pop on his serve that helps him set things up there. You can see he's struggled a bit there, having to create his own pace and deal with the timing from Curtis. Good slider into the body there from Curtis. Curtis is known on the ITF Tour as the Jamie Moyer of servers. That's a let first serve here. Jeff trying to still get a feel for the ball at this point. Get those feet going and get the timing right on his groundies.
See very stable backhand out of Curtis Dunn here. I would give to have that myself, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Curtis is going to overwhelm on the serve, but he's playing some smart singles. He's letting Jeff make some mistakes here. Put him ahead with an opportunity to hold and level this match. And there it is. Jeff isn't quite looking comfortable out there yet. Looked comfortable on his hold, but still feeling out a good way to get calm and break Curtis. Let's see how Jeff does serving into the sun here at 1-all. Jeff not a fan of wearing a hat or glasses in conditions like this, where Curtis has the full sunscreen, glasses, hat combination. We'll see if that plays a factor later on. We had some early morning harsh shadows to deal with for the previous match, but should be shadow free for the players for the majority of this match. Second serving point here for Jeff to avoid going down love 30 on his serve. Wow, the confidence that Jeff gets just when he's serving, the difference in his footwork. We got another gentleman joining us here live on air that's going to introduce himself and tell us a little bit about his tournament experience. Sir, what's your name? Grab that microphone.
It's Jaime Barajas.
And Jaime, what did you do here at this tournament? Tell us a little bit about yourself and this event as we watch this men's 55
So
final.
I've been playing this tournament for many years, back in the playing the 30s, 35s, and it's great to come back and be the new kid on the block playing the 60s. So I had a great tournament, I thought, going all the way to the quarters, playing the number 1 seed Bill Moss, which is a tough player.
Awesome. Did you play any doubles or mixed?
We played doubles with Brent Benham. We had a close match, but we lost in the first round.
Okay. Got any scouting advice on Jeff or Curtis here? You ran into these guys on the tour?
It's going to be a battle. Those two guys, I've been battling with them because they're just the 55, so they're just a couple years younger. But both really good players. Jeff's certainly mentally tough, and Curtis Dunn has always been phenomenal on the court.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us here at the desk, and shout out to Wake Forest. So you got some Slinko gear on as well. What sort of sticks are you using these days?
So the Yonex, E-Zone.
Awesome.
That's the one.
Awesome. The blue one, right?
Yes, the new one, yes.
Awesome. Cool.
So, but Solinko has been good to my son as well, to Jaime Barajas Jr. So.
Awesome. We'll look him up.
Thank you.
Thanks. Pretty fluid, fun environment here at the Wilson World Tennis Classic. Got a a lot of great guys and girls. There's a lot of stories. I've learned more about the history of tennis today than I have in all my time coaching on the tour.
Great display of power and touch from Jeff Greenwald there. Great setup of that point.
Our first deuce encounter of this match. Jeff's big flat serve, a little bit tougher with that sun. Also Curtis getting a little bit more opportunity to feel the ball. Once you get used to that fast air and the slow pace of the court, these big flat serves are returnable. See if Greenwald can hold here to keep it on track. There's that big serve out wide, sets up the point nicely and just hesitates a bit on closing out that volley. It does land about one ball length long. Another big serve from Jeff. I think he actually wanted that ball to come back over so he could prove to himself that he has that volley. Jeff trying to keep these points short and really close it out. Dunn doesn't have the power, but he has the positioning. He moves in nicely before he hits that ground stroke, setting himself up to create that short angle, and then follows it up nicely with a short dropper that Jeff had intentions to get, but
The control he's got on that backhand is great. Being able to neutralize Jeff's powerful shot and also, like you said, create that angle.
if you're just tuning in to watch this match, we are in a deuce battle at 1-1 in the first set of the men's 55 singles final. On the bottom of our scoreboard is the number 1 seed in the tournament, Jeff Greenwald. Up at the top of the scoreboard is Curtis Dunn, who's currently receiving serve. He's the number 2 in the tournament. They both made it through the draw of 64. They're both here in the final without dropping a set. So impressive runs for both gentlemen throughout this tournament. Within the next half an hour or so, one of these gentlemen will drop their first set in the tournament. It's a battle of attrition shaping up here. Jeff managing to squeak out a good hold there. He started off the match with an easy 45 hold. Curtis was able to secure a hold in quite a bit of a longer game.
Yeah, as both players start to develop a rhythm here, about 15 minutes into this match, we're going to see some pretty interesting rallies.
Yeah, this will be the First time that Mr. Dunn has to serve into the sun. See if that plays into his strategy here at all. Taking a look at a nice panning shot here, thanks to Spencer, our commentator extraordinaire here, who's also panning the cameras and manning the scoreboard, where I'm just sitting here talking about it. You're looking off to the northeast, a beautiful Shadow Mountain Resort. See the mountains off in the distance. It's a beautiful clear day, low 70s, perfect tennis weather. Curtis is serving to keep things on track here, on hold. There's Jeff's first time we've really seen him look comfortable playing against Curtis's ball. When Jeff needs to return, he took his time and got set up there and was patient enough to really hit the ground stroke he wanted to hit for that nice pass. It's interesting from a sports psychologist standpoint to watch Jeff do his thing out here. If you've read his book, you know that although tennis is a mental game, right now he's focused on getting his mind out of the way and letting his subconscious drive things. He's definitely feeling out Curtis as this match develops, trying to find that one break. And in Jeff's mind, that's really all he needs in a set is one break. Five all here. One of the first times we've seen Curtis deliver a first serve into the net. A little bit of that sun in play. Notice he went for a bit of a flat ball. Starting to see Greenwald get a little more comfortable there on Curtis's serve, starting to step in and be patient and wait for the opportunity to attack. Started to control that point after about the third ball there. He looked just as in control as he does when he's serving. It's the first time we've seen that develop. See if Curtis can manage to hold this game here and keep things even. His second serve, 30 all. Jeff off of his back foot. Tries to create a little too much of an angle there. Curtis has 40-30. And puts the first serve in play, resulting in a hold. It's now 2-all. Not sure if we're seeing signs of frustration or exhaustion out of Jeff. Let's see if he can reset himself and try to get out of this love 30 hole he finds himself in after a couple mistakes. I love Dunn's aggressiveness on the return there, noticing that Jeff is in a second serve, love 30 do or die scenario. Dunn with a great return, sets himself up and just comes forward and sprays that ball a bit wide. Wasn't in good position to fall through on that ball. Great pull, great point from both competitors there. Notice Dunn's playing with a lot more margin for error, where Jeff's game is a bit of a hit or miss right now, especially if he's doesn't have the energy and legs to be in the right position.
Coming back from that love 30 was definitely gritty.
Huge point for Jeff. Let's see if he goes big T here. Oh, he goes out wide. Picks another spot. One of the slower first serves we've seen him hit, but it had enough action in on it to jam up Curtis a bit.
Great run of points here from Jeff. See if you can finish out this game.
Ball sails just long. A lot of these matches without chair umpires this week, and we have seen overall good sportsmanship from the guys.
Very good sportsmanship.
They've been battling it out on been battling out for, in some cases, decades. Talked to some guys in the 75 division that are telling us stories about one particular hook they remember from boys 14s from 50 years ago.
Everyone's got one.
Critical hold for Jeff there.
Yeah.
Huge comeback.
Great battle. Getting himself back into that game.
take another look at our crowd. We'll actually pan our camera around just to give you a view of what it's like here from the commentator's desk. Spencer, this time let's go ahead and take a look at Dunn's serve here. If we can pan all the way around to the baseline, even though we've got a fence in the way. I just want to give our audience at home an impression of what Dunn's serve looks like, as we just got an opportunity here in the booth to see a little bit about what Jeff's working with here. I think we'll give you some shots of Dunn's serve as this game develops here, as he's serving down 2-3, trying to stay on hold here. I like that. There's a good look at that banner for National Senior Men's Tennis Association. Big shout out to Wilson and James Mackey Real Estate as well. You're looking down at courts 4, 5, 6, and 7 at Shadow Mountain Resort as Curtis gets ready to serve. Great ball from Jeff. Lands just on the line. Curtis thought about trying to call it out, but he couldn't. Love 5. Take a look at Dunn's second serve delivery here. We'll see if serve, especially with the amount of energy expelled, plays a factor as this match progresses. It's pretty obvious that Dunn has a more compact, simple delivery that doesn't take as much energy, where Jeff seems to be really utilizing his legs, tossing that ball a bit forward, and really relies on extending forward into the court. Where Curtis likes to put it in the box and develop the point by other means. Big ball. That's 2 huge backhand down the line winners for Jeff to go ahead with a triple break opportunity here.
I think this is our first break point of the match, in fact. Let's see. That's
Huge retort there from Curtis.
very hard to compete with that shot. That's
He missed his spot. He sprayed it maybe a foot or 2 wide of where he was aiming, but it happened to be just what the doctor ordered. Dunn quickly finds himself 1 point away from leveling this game.
see if Jeff can beat the momentum that Dunn has going on here.
Both players not wasting any time on either one of their serves. That's beautiful from Jeff, mixing it up. Curtis saw it coming, but it was too late. First break of the match. Joining us live here on air, we've got none other than Mr. Ed Wagner joining us at the booth as we're currently Jeff serving up 4-2-5 love in the opening set. Ed, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about your journey here at this tournament.
So my journey, like my playing journey, or just journey? So, anyways, Ed Wagner, live in St. Pete Beach, Florida. I'm a clay court specialist, but I came out here to hit some tennis balls with these hard court specialists out here. Fortunately, I was able to get a couple matches in under my belt, and then I ran into Curtis, where Curtis took care of business. Oh, that was a great point.
Hey, you're sitting in the desk here with a couple of young open tennis players that are commentating on this match, but tell us a bit about your thoughts and perspective as somebody who's been traveling around the tour with these guys, battling in week out.
Sure. So it's been a while since I've seen Jeff play. You know, Jeff stays a lot on the West Coast, so I haven't seen him play in a number of years, but it's good to see that he hasn't changed too much. I mean, he's still pounding the ball really hard, and the first serve still comes in. He's got a lot of variety there. Okay, so he's still hitting the ball really hard. Curtis's game he's really a grinder, you know. But you know, and he does transition well to clay, so he does well on clay because he just grinds out the balls. And so you got both sides of this game here. A guy who hits the ball really hard, and Jeff flatter than most of us at this age. You know, we start rolling the ball a little bit more, but Jeff hasn't. And then Curtis, is that a break back again? Broken back.
Jeff serving into the sun. Hasn't really looked comfortable this whole match.
Yeah, you know, that sun is low in the sky at this time of day. I played an 8 o'clock match, and I played a 9:30 match on these courts looking into that sun. And it's tough. It's tough looking into the sun on that side.
Talk a bit about this venue that we're looking at here as the camera pans hurriedly around. We're at lovely Shadow Mountain Resort here in Indian Wells, Palm Desert, California.
Yeah, so
How many times have you been out here?
No, this is my first trip out here to play this event at this venue. I played this event before in its previous venue, but this is the first time I've been here. Pleasantly surprised by the accommodations. I mean, I'm staying with a friend locally, so I'm not staying right here. But if you were staying right here at Shadow Mountain and playing your matches here at Shadow Mountain Resort, this would be a great event to be at. Again, I'm all about the experience and the tournament experience. And if you were staying here, nice pool, nice hot tub, tennis courts are a walk away. That makes a great event because you play and then you watch and you hang out and have food here. It's a total experience.
Now, are you still alive in any of the draws?
No, I lost the quarterfinals to Curtis in the singles, and I lost in I think the round of 16 in doubles. So I am done. So I am a spectator.
So can you take Curtis down on clay? Is that the next time you want to encounter him? Or?
Yeah, I'd like to play him on clay. I've never played Curtis before in an event. This is the first time I've played him in any event. He's a couple years younger than me, so I don't usually get him. He's just aged up, so I usually get a few years without him. And then I think clay, I'd have a better shot. he likes to take the ball in the rise, and I'm a heavy topspin, and you just can't do that on clay. You'd have to back up. Fortunately, again, for me, he had to. He was taking on the rise, and it worked for him.
Awesome. We'll see if Curtis can cement that break here and continue back on hold as he takes his time serving into the sun. As Jeff's been having trouble being patient, waiting for Curtis's ball some of the times here. A great example there is he's just a little bit early. Sails that forehand just wide.
Yeah, so Curtis's serve is attackable for sure. So I'm surprised Jeff isn't taking advantage of that. But it is, the championship. So it could be got to settle in a little bit.
Nerves are a factor. Also, this was a draw 64 for the guys. Conditioning comes into play. Also, the weather conditions have been different almost every day. One of the warmer days of the draw.
Yeah.
It'll be a huge bounce back game here for Curtis. Thank you, Ed, for stopping by.
Hey, this is great. Thanks, Todd. Good seeing you guys.
Stop by anytime.
All right, appreciate it.
That's Ed Wagner joining us all the way from the west coast of Florida. Resides just north of Bradenton, home of IMG and Bulletary. Coincidentally, Jeff Greenwald attended Bulletary Academy, went there as a kid. Rest in peace to the great Nick Bulletary, who recently passed. Curtis has a lead here, serving 35. A couple of big balls in a row there from Jeff, but that one just getting away from him. Sails out. Looked good from the caster's booth perspective, but not necessarily from the baseline camera. No argument from Jeff. Curtis serving 45 to level this match at 4-all. Jeff really flirting with those lines here. Pays off. That's the fourth impressive down the line two-handed drive we've seen out of Jeff that gets him a critical point. Just wide. Half of the crowd thought that was in. Heard some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Break point.
Consecutive breaks here. We'll see. Both players struggling to hold serve the last few games. Let's see if Curtis can break that trend.
Yeah, and our pre-match interviews in the locker room with both competitors, the one thing they did agree on is that this was going to be a battle, and it's been the case so far. There we go. Jeff showing some frustration to the crowd, saying, hey, you know, not happy with himself. Let's take a look at power out in the booth. We lost our commentator audio. Currently talking to you through the on-court microphone that's designed to pick up the tennis ball noise. Okay, just like that, we are back.
Very interesting turn of events there.
So we work on getting our scoreboard back on track here. Are we at 30 love, Spencer? Here's your first look at Jeff's service motion from the side there. If we could zoom in a bit on that, take a look at his second serve motion. Could be a critical point here for Curtis if he can manage to squeak this out, get some frustration out of Jeff. And it works. Jeff had a great ball he set up there, but just didn't quite do enough with the drop shot, and Curtis was able to track it down and get ahead in the point. We'll take one more look at Jeff's delivery here. As he served in 35 to close out the set. Starting to really swing loose there on the forehand. Who's in the right position. Takes us to 45. 1 point from the set. And a big serve. Was waiting to deliver that since the first point of the match. Manages to hold after a bit of a struggle there for Jeff. And close out the first set 6-3. As we take a look at the beautiful Shadow Mountain Resort here. At the Wilson World Tennis Classic Men's 55 Singles Final. Crowd starting to come in. A couple hundred folks that are out to take a look at this. Got another gentleman joining us here at the desk. Randy, why don't you hold on to that mic? And why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you're doing here at the tournament.
My name's Craig Weisnick. And
Craig, hold on the mic. There you go.
Getting ready to go play some tennis on the clay courts.
Awesome.
So,
did you play this week in the tournament?
yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't our day. So we got the number 5 seeds in the first round. So they beat us, but they were a good team, and it's what it is what it is. You know. So, did you see that last serve right there?
We did. That was a.
How fast? You guys don't have it on the
We
RPM?
measured that. That was 112 up the tee. Nice flat ball. Way to, finish off the set with a cap there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to finish that thing off
Yeah.
with an exclamation point. Then it's a good way to finish it. So, anyway, I got to take off. I'm gonna about ready to go on. So,
Awesome. We'll go enjoy.
doing
the
a good
play.
job there, dude.
Thanks for watching.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. That first set taking 45 minutes to come to a conclusion. 6-3 doesn't tell the whole tale. As Curtis gets ready to serve, trying to start off with a hold, make sure this match doesn't get away with him in a hurry. Quality point from both tennis players. That's Carrie Buckland walking right in front of the camera as we're live on air. Carrie, do you want to come and? No. Five all. Second serve for Dunn. Good lob out of Jeff there, just out of the reach of Curtis. Curtis opting to go with Carl Malone, but not quite enough hops there to make that hook shock overhead work.
Carl Malone.
Got a lot of heritage, not only in tennis here this week, but a lot of famous athletes from other walks. Interviewed earlier in the week a Olympic gold medalist in ice skating. Later today we'll see some action from a multiple Grand Slam champion, Mr. Rick Leach, out on the court for some doubles action. We're currently watching the men's 55 singles action at the Wilson World Tennis Classic. Curtis Dunn serving down 540, trying to get this game back on track to hold in the opening match of the second set after dropping the first set 3-6. Curtis is Stanford class of '89, three-time team NCAA champions. Still chasing his first gold ball as he works his way around the 55s circuit. Jeff is one of the guys that stands firmly in the way from making that happen. Curtis was able to run his way as the number 2 seed through the tournament, all the way through the draw from the round of 64 all the way to the final without dropping a set. Unfortunately for him, Mr. Greenwald, the number 1 seed, pulled off the same feat. Jeff finds himself up a break now, serving 1-0 as the second set starts. Able to secure that critical break, first game of the second set. Big serve from Jeff, probably the second fast serve of the match, clocking in at 101 miles per hour. Showing signs of frustration in the second set. Really helped get him riled up actually and close out the end of the first set. He's trying to make quick work of this second by going up a break, by cementing this hold. There's a nice second serve. Oh, I guess that was wide. Couldn't see that one. I guess it was a double fault. 35. Jeff not wasting any time at all in between serves. Spencer, did he call that ball out?
I'm not too sure.
He
Seemed like it might have been.
grunted in frustration, or did he say no? I'm not quite sure.
Guess we'll find out soon.
Looked like the ball was on the line or close to being out.
It looked like. No, he called it in.
He called it in, so it's 30 all. Good fair call there from Mr. Greenwald. Jeff looking a lot more comfortable on his ground strokes here than at the beginning of the match, really getting into a groove.
Having that set and break lead helps, I'm sure.
Yep. Waited patiently for that backhand to come to him. He wasn't in the right position or the right footwork to drive it, so he opted to roll it back, and it paid off. There's a relatively easy hold for Jeff, getting him a nice 2-0 lead here in the second set at the men's 55 finals of the Wilson World Tennis Classic. This match brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the tournament, as well as the title sponsor, as well as Mr. James Mackey, your desert real estate connection. Special shout out to the National Senior Men's Tennis Association that's lobbying to keep competitive tournament tennis alive, not only in the US but around the world. As Curtis finds himself in frankly a must-hold game here to stay alive in the set. Spencer currently serving down love 5, 0-2. Good look at Curtis serving into the sun. There is no give up in Mr. Dunn. Falls during the point, but sticks right with it. Comes up and closes off a beautiful drop shot. And a great lob to set it up in the first place. Five all as Curtis looks to bounce back here with a hold. See if he can take some momentum after that great defensive point. Turn it around here and get under Jeff's skin a little bit. I think you could hear Jeff Greenwald's footwork. Hopefully that's coming through home there. Nice job getting set up for that first forehand, taking his time developing that point. Curtis finds himself down 5-30.
Fantastic return.
Big ball out of Jeff. Curtis serving that one right to Jeff's strike zone. Jeff didn't have to move a shoelace, let alone a foot, to feel comfortable getting after that forehand. .540.
There's the game for Greenwald.
Wow, so a break for Jeff and Curtis. Joining us here on the microphone, a couple students that are behind the scenes making this broadcast possible. Gentlemen, we are live on air. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? You guys are from Citrus High School, from Val Verde Unified School District, with a program called Teen Vision. You know how to use that mic, guys. Tell us a bit about what you're doing here today.
What time is it? It's the morning, right?
Yep.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Ricardo. I'm part of Team Vision. It's a video production crew. We go out and record football games, tennis games, any kind of events that we're told to do. We're in high school still, so obviously we don't get paid, but I mean, I'm kind of mad about that. We don't get paid, but I mean, at least we're getting experience.
You're working on that. Actually
Yeah.
met you guys at an esports tournament, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Your high school GG chapter.
Yes.
You guys are out here, so you'll stream video games.
Video
Any sort of-
games, yeah, sports.
anything.
Yeah. School
Awesome.
events, anything.
And how are you liking tennis so far?
It's pretty interesting. I'd like to learn how to play. Let's see how they do today.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. We're going to get a little tour behind the scenes in the broadcast truck later to see everything that goes into the broadcast. But thank you so much
Of course.
for making this possible. What's your name, sir?
My name is Jose Zavaleta.
And what's your job here?
I'm usually behind the scenes in the trailer. That's my new job. I used to be on the camera all the time, but now Johnny has me on the behind the scenes, so I don't have to be out here.
And who's Johnny?
Mr. Johnny Nunez, our head director for Val Verde, our teacher.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out all the way to lovely Indian Wells, and we'll make sure that we get an awesome tour of the truck here in between matches.
Sounds good.
Jeff Greenwald currently serves ahead 3-0, trying to finish out this match in short order. Spencer, I like seeing the kids behind the scenes learn jobs in tech. For all the kids here at the tournaments, their first exposure to the game of tennis. We spent a couple days going through how the scoreboards work and making sure that our camera operators don't run on the court when they're not supposed to. It's all culminated here today on Thursday. And that brings us live on air. The technology being able to bring this broadcast to the masses for everyone to enjoy. So big shout out again to Mr. J at Citrus High School and all the folks at Val Verde Unified School District and the folks at highschool.gg that have made this broadcast possible.
Just crossing over the 1 hour mark here. We got Jeff in the second set, displaying a little bit of dominance. I think he's finally finding his rhythm here against Curtis's unrelenting defense.
Jeff trying to quickly take care of business, but didn't quite work out there. Let's see if he can do it here on a second serve. There's that big two-handed backhand up the line that Jeff's been using to put himself ahead in so many points throughout the match. Doesn't work out for him this time. Good fight from Curtis. Haven't seen one visible ounce of frustration or give up from Mr. Dunn despite being down 4-love. Or 3-love with an opportunity to be down 4-love in this championship bout. As Jeff serving 45. Opts to go for a slice just to get the ball in, serving into the sun. Curtis with a huge close coming into the net.
Great from Curtis there.
There's that fight from Curtis that we just talked about. See if Jeff tries to win the point with a 105 mile per hour ace or plays it safe. He attempts to go big, but perhaps legs or sun is a bit of a factor. Didn't really get underneath that ball. Second serve, cute dropper, finishes off the game, secures that 4-0 lead. We take a look at the crowd. It's a bit of a standing room only crowd. I don't know, Spencer, can we pan even more to the left? Take a look behind us here. We've got folks standing in the crowd. We've got folks climbing the trees to watch this match. We've got folks up there on the balcony. As Dunn serves down love 4 in the second set of the men's 55 singles championship at the Wilson World Tennis Classic. That heavy forehand from Jeff sails just a bit long. He's still just as frustrated as he was at the end of the first set as he was trying to close it out. I think Jeff outwardly uses that frustration just to motivate himself, keep that energy level up. Curtis is more even keeled. Hasn't shown any signs of giving up in this battle. Finds himself ahead 30-11 in a game with a chance to get up back on track. See if there's anyone else that wants to join us to tell us a little bit about their experience here at the Wilson World Tennis Classic. Any ladies out there from the National Women's Tennis Organization?
Another great close from Curtis Dunn.
I've got 5 NWTO members standing behind us, but none of them want to stand up. Looks like we've got somebody coming in to join us here at the booth. Sir, what's your name and what are you doing here at this tournament?
Vince Menard, playing the men's 60 doubles.
Men's 60 dubs. You know these gentlemen battling it out here in the men's 55 singles final.
Sure do. Great players.
As we watch Curtis try to get his first hold here in the second set, he's serving 40 love at down 0-4, trying to make a bit of a match out of this final.
Yeah.
How'd your week go so far in men's 60s doubles, sir?
It's still going. Hopefully it continues to go. We got one match coming up here in about an hour, playing a local favorite, Mike Federley.
Awesome. Are you entered in singles and mixed doubles as well, or focused on men's doubles this week?
Just focus on men's doubles. That's enough for me. I got a simple mind.
And where do you hail from?
I hail from Dallas, Texas. We're having an ice storm right now, so it's nice being out here. But my family hates me right now because they know how nice it is here, and they're stuck inside.
Well, sorry that they just got a chance to see you live on YouTube and see how lovely the weather is here. Beautiful Shadow Mountain Resort for the Wilson World Tennis Classic. It's currently 72 degrees as we take a look around at the lovely scenery, that the mountain backdrop and everything. Is this your first time out here to Shadow
Beautiful.
Mountain?
First time here, yes. I come for the professional tournament most years in Indian Wells, but first time to play the event here, yes, sir.
And will you be back in the future?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we're watching Curtis fight a bit. He hasn't given up at all in this match. Ooh, had a good opportunity to cement the hold there, but now Jeff has managed to battle it all the way back to deuce. Curtis showing his first visible signs of frustration and a combination of exhaustion. It's been a big battle. This is a draw of 64 for the men's 55 singles. Both of these competitors rolling through the tournament in straight sets. So this is actually Curtis's first set that he's dropped all week. Is that 3-6 set in the first set to Mr. Greenwald. Greenwald looking to make sure that he doesn't drop a set, trying to secure another break here for a 5-0 lead. Any advice for these young guys?
After that point, I can't give either one of them any advice. That was amazing. Greenwald doesn't give you an inch. Curtis doesn't give you much more than that, I'll tell you that. These guys are such incredible competitors. It's fun to watch.
was the best lob of the week that we've seen out of anyone. That nice topspin backhand lob to the corner out of Mr. Dunn.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us there in the booth. Curtis serving for the hold here. See if he can close this out. Coming in, dropper opportunity. Gives Jeff a chance for a pass. And that was all Jeff needed. He took advantage of it.
Just back to deuce. That's a deadly close.
Beautiful close from Mr. Dunn. Setting himself up with another game point. Curtis doing a great job of mixing things up this game. See if he can. Ooh. Tough opportunity for the pass there, but Jeff was all over it. Curtis does end up taking a dive on the court, but he appears to be just all right. Showing some signs of frustration more than signs of pain. So he takes a moment to collect himself and deliver the third deuce serve here. Beautiful pass from Curtis. I must say, Spencer, as this match has developed, maybe the individuals on the court aren't happy with their individual level of play, but the tennis as a whole, the level has definitely been raised. The points we're seeing developed here
Yeah, both men
are awesome.
not willing to give up without a fight here. Greenwald trying to close out the set, but Curtis just holding on. Just wide.
Just wide.
Do we know how many deuces that is, Todd? That's
I believe this is the fourth deuce, possibly the fifth deuce in this game. I know Curtis has had about 6 game points. Jeff managing to not want to give up this game. I think he's interested in a bagel here in this set just to send a message to the rest of the 55s around the world that he's still boss. Jeff was #1 in the world in 35 singles, and over 20 years later, he's still out there hunting down gold balls. Jeff currently has 6 USTA gold balls under his belt with 13 national titles. Author of Best Tennis of Your Life. Managed to get here in straight sets through the round of 64 all the way to the final. He's definitely not interested in giving up a set at this point. Curtis finds himself in a different situation here in the final. He hasn't dropped a set all week as well. Dropped the first set 3-6. Finds himself down 0-4. Fighting tooth and nail to get a game here so we can get back on track and keep this a 2-break affair.
We need a deuce counter on this thing. This is incredible. Just back and forth. Both players fighting off game points.
It's great, Spencer. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that the National Senior Men's Tennis Association is out lobbying with tournament directors around the country, the ITF, the USTA, all the committees that go in and set the rules and standards for these events, making sure that what we're watching here is real tennis with some deuce being allowed to play itself out, that this isn't no ad. As we see a ball land in, or did Jeff call that out?
I believe Jeff called that one out.
Jeff called that lob out. Sets us up for break point. Fair calls from both players all throughout this men's 55s final.
Yeah. Through the tournament, I'm certain.
That first serve sails just long as Curtis gets a second to think about his second serve. That backhand sails just long. Takes us to 5-0 with Jeff attempting to close out this match as we take another good look at the lovely facility here at Shadow Mountain Resort at the Wilson World Tennis Classic 2023 edition. More than 4 dozen draws ranging all the way from men's and women's 35 singles, doubles, and mixed, all the way up to the 90s in contention this week. Big shout out to all of our sponsors making this happen, the National Men's Senior Tennis Association. As you see there in the foreground, that banner on the fence, Wilson, the title sponsor, as well as Mr. James Mackey, Real Estate. Joining us later, if we can get any of the ladies to join us at the interview booth, is the National Women's Tennis Organization. Seen a lot of camaraderie between the two groups this week, a lot of the men joining the NWTO. You can find out more information for them at nwto.us. You can sign up online to be a part of their great organization. Looks like they will be joining us here. Oh, we're going to get a shout out to them. Looks like they're too shy to talk to us, but they are holding up their poster. So there they are. There's the NWTO. So you can look them up online at nwto.us as they are. Yeah. So we hope that they'll find someone a little less camera shy and come up and talk to us at some point during today's broadcast. Maybe Caroline Castell can join us on air. See if we can get a good look at Greenwald's serve here as he looks to deliver the final blow, serving ahead 5-0 in this final of men's 55 singles. First serve goes wide and long. Not wasting any time in between first and second serve. Looked ready to go coming out of the changeover. He's like a bull in the china shop. Secures the first point. 3 points away from a championship for Jeff. Big serve up the tee. Finds the box. Sliding out wide away from Curtis's forehand. Curtis gets a racket on it but can't do much with it. Jeff serving 30 love. And there you have it. It's 40 love for Mr. Greenwald as he has a couple looks at championship point here. Serving to Mr. Dunn. It's been a great week for both of these competitors. Let's see if Jeff can close it out in fashion like he did in the first set. Ended the first set with a big ace up the tee on the deuce side. Let's see if he can go big out wide here on the ad side. Serving 40 love championship point in men's 55. He goes for a big flat out wide serve, which he's been favoring on the ad side all week. Kicker to the body of Dunn. Perhaps Jeff wanted another opportunity to find an ace on the deuce side up the tee. Jeff walking back to the service hash with a bit of swagger. 45. Jeff goes for a big ball there, but didn't have the feet to match the swing. Finds himself with one more championship point before things get really interesting. Takes a moment to go back to the fence and settle his nerves, takes a couple deep breaths and steps back up in for a 40-30 delivery. He's got a second serve here. Curtis not willing to give up. Jeff tries to slow the point down, perhaps fighting off some championship point nerves there. Had 3 of them. We're back to deuce. Good fight out of Mr. Dunn to level this 40 love game. Back at 40 all. Jeff heads back to the bench to gather himself. Jeff hasn't been able to find a commanding first serve in the last 4 points here. Puts the second serve into play.
Powerful ball.
There's that aggression from Jeff. This time he does get his feet set and his legs loaded and hits a great, beautiful inside-in forehand down the line. Getting himself championship point number 4. Second serve.
Oh.
There it is. We have it. Jeff Greenwald, your champion of men's 55 at the Wilson World Tennis Classic. Both players showing signs of respect to each other. Big fight out of Curtis Dunn. Showed no signs, a lot of heart throughout the match. Things just didn't go his way in the second set. Had a lot of opportunities to convert some of those games, but Jeff showed a lot of fight and being able to convert each and every one of those games and every opportunities. Crowd showed their love for a well-fought battle. Match time at 1 hour and 25 minutes. Your final score 6-3, 6-0 as Jeff Greenwald gets another important title under his belt, secures some critical ranking points, the ITF and USTA level. I'm sure we'll be hearing from him later in the broadcast. Thanks so much for joining us today, folks. I am Todd Conley with Team Solinco.
I'm Spencer Watanabe. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for all the support from highschool.gg and the kids at the High School GG Guild, the chapter at Citrus High School, and Teen Vision all the way from Val Verde Unified. Big shout out once again to Kywin Evans, director of the Wilson World Tennis Classic at lovely Shadow Mountain Resort. Thanks so much to Wilson, the official ball of the tournament, the official title sponsor of the tournament, the National Senior Men's Tennis Association, the National Women's Tennis Organization, James Mackey Real Estate, and all the other sponsors that made this event possible. We will see you back on air at 12:30 Pacific time for some amazing doubles action. Signing off for now.